If you have not heard binaural recording before, be prepared to be amazed today. I am doing a recording of my Sonos Arc paired with two Sonos Sub with a pair of Sonos 5s as the surround to demonstrate to you the difference between standard 5.1 versus Lossy Atmos through Dolby Digital Plus, as well as full lossless True HD Dolby Atmos sound. That will help you determine whether the Sonos Arc is a good buy, even if you are having an older TV that is not able to support Atmos. Put on your headphones. I will be running through the recordings after I do some explanation to set up this video for you. Let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. We talk about wireless audiophile products, and it has been a year since Sonos has launched the Atmos-capable Sonos Arc. But the question that a lot of my viewers, a lot of people I speak to, if I have an older TV, is it still worth buying the Sonos Arc? Okay, so to start off today's video, as usual on my channel, I will give you the upfront summary so you don't have to stay around for the whole video if you don't have the time. So assuming you don't have something from Sonos already in your possession now, you should be suitably impressed with what the Sonos Arc can do for you. Forget about the Atmos capability, forget about the outward firing speaker, forget about the ARC or the eARC compatibility with your TV. The sound is great. But what if you already have a Sonos Beam, say, for example? Then my recommendation is, if your TV is a little bit older, doesn't have eARC, doesn't support Atmos, then don't bother upgrading to the Sonos Arc until you decide to buy a new TV. Okay, and that's the summary up front. Now, if you're going to be sticking around, then I like to go in to define what an older TV means. An older TV, in the context of us discussing the Sonos Arc, is going to mean that it doesn't have eARC and it doesn't have Atmos support. So let's break down what eARC does. eARC is a specification that is supported by HDMI version 2.1. So eARC is Enhanced Audio Return Channel. So it basically means that when you connect a device to your TV's eARC port, it's able to pull in audio signals from the TV as an output. And eARC requires HDMI version 2.1, and the bandwidth that is allocated to the specification of 2.1 for HDMI version 2.1 is actually 48 Gbps. So that is actually some really wicked fast connection. And why does it require that? Because the eARC, as opposed to the standard ARC channel, is able to return uncompressed audio and uncompressed 4K, 8K resolution at up to 8K 60. So you need that bandwidth in order to support lossless Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision HDR at up to 8K resolution. So if you don't have eARC, it doesn't mean your TV is very old. eARC is relatively new. It's just that it wasn't as widespread as Sonos say it was going to be last year. I mean, given that we had a pandemic, given that a lot of production and a lot of design efforts were slowed down a little bit, I don't know whether it's forgivable, but understandable. Now, the other thing about an older TV is that it doesn't have Atmos support. This is Dolby Atmos. So Atmos is 3D positional sound. So you sit there, Atmos actually has heights channel. So it's actually casting the sound from your ceiling downwards. Or in the case of the Sonos Arc, it has upward firing speakers, and these upward firing speakers will fire off the ceiling sounds to be reflected off your ceiling and bouncing down to you from your in your listening position, so that you will be able to get the effect of sounds coming from the top. That is the definition of an old TV. For the context of today's video, a new TV, say the LG C1 or even last year's LG CX, they would have these two specifications. They would have HDMI 2.1, which supports up to 4K 120 frames per second, and more importantly, supports eARC. So but there will be one of the HDMI port, which instead of just a normal ARC, it is eARC, Enhanced audio return channel. And when you connect your Sonos soundbar, your Sonos Arc soundbar to that particular port, what you're going to be getting is actually a lossless Dolby Atmos signal. So uncompressed signal playing back full Dolby sounds. And the other thing that is in a relatively new TV and relatively higher spec TV is actually that of Dolby Atmos. So if your TV is able to decode Dolby Atmos, it means to say all the apps that are built into your TV will be able to identify that this TV will require an Atmos sound stream. And in your Netflix, it will then display the Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision logo. And when that happens, your soundbar is then able to get the Atmos soundtrack and play it back to you. So what is the end game here? The end game, the ultimate solution for those of you who are considering the Sonos Arc or have a Sonos Arc but want to upgrade. When you look out for a new TV, be sure to ask the salesperson these two questions. Does it support Dolby Atmos? The answer must be a yes. And does it support eARC, Enhanced Audio Return Channel? The answer should also be a yes. Make sure it's in the product brochure and don't just trust whatever the salesperson is saying because they want to sell you the TV. They will say that it has cookies and cream on the back panel if you want cookies and cream, if you like cookies and cream. Now, I can anticipate the next question that you guys are asking me. So you have an old TV and you want the Sonos Arc. So is there a workaround? The workaround is a device from HD Fury. It is HD Fury Arcana. It actually splits the signal from an external device before it goes to your TV so that it will send the video channel to your TV and it will send the Dolby Atmos signal to your soundbar. But that actually means that you are only going to be able to use your TV and soundbar combination when you are using that external device. So you can't. It is a workaround solution. So when I first got the Sonos Arc, I did not have an eARC TV and neither did I have an Dolby Atmos compatible TV. It is not that it won't get Dolby Atmos. If you have an Arc, you can plug it through a non-enhanced ARC port. So a non-eARC port, just a standard HDMI ARC port, you will still be able to get lossy Dolby Atmos through the DD Plus protocol. So this is Dolby Digital Plus protocol. So when you are playing back any of these or in your TV, you must do that setting, right? Ensure sound output can be set to DD Plus. And if you have Dolby Digital Plus enabled, you should be able to output Atmos, except that it will not be in an uncompressed form. It will be compressed. It will be using DD+. So without eARC port, you still can get Atmos. It is just that there is another problem that the TV doesn't have Atmos compliance. So any of the clients that you're running on the TV, it will ask the TV, do you process Atmos? And the TV will reply, no, I don't process Atmos. Yes, the soundbar processes Atmos, but the soundbar is one step away. So when the client, Netflix, Prime, whatever, is asking the TV, do you process Atmos? The TV replies no, and you won't get the Atmos stream. One way to test it is you could download an Atmos DD Plus file into a thumb drive, stick it into your USB port, and you play it. It will show that your TV is capable of playing Atmos through DD Plus and outputting it to your Sonos Arc. So with a HDMI ARC, you still can do it. It's just lossy, that's all. And I wanted to improve it, right? It kept nagging me. I want to try out full lossless Atmos, through HD form, and to make sure that I'm not missing out on anything. So I went out, I got an LG CX TV a couple of months back. And, well, the sound, I would tell myself, is confirmation bias. Okay, I'll tell myself that, yeah, it sounds great, it is uncompressed and all. Well, I would tell you it's a little bit louder. I don't know whether it tricks me into understanding whether the sound is better. So in this channel, I do recordings, all right? Sometimes it's a bit idiosyncratic to do recording because it doesn't mean that you will be able to hear what I'm hearing, but I actually got binaural microphones that goes into your ear. So when I do the recording in that way, into a Zoom H1n external recorder, you will be able to hear what I'm hearing. So I'm going to run through a couple of test files later. I will let you compare a 5.1 versus a full Atmos lossless True HD file, right? And you tell yourself, you can ask yourself whether you can tell the difference between a 5.1 no Atmos with a full lossless Atmos soundtrack. And the other comparison that I'm going to let you hear is a Lossy Dolby Digital Plus Atmos soundtrack. So that's the one that goes through a HDMI ARC, a non-eARC TV. And the last one, I will let you hear the same file in a Atmos lossless format going through eARC. So full bandwidth True HD. You listen for yourself, all right? I think it's going to be a very good recording. You hear it for yourself and see whether that makes a difference to you. And if you can tell that there is a difference, then by all means, get the Sonos Arc, upgrade your TV, do what is necessary to satisfy yourself. Life is short. Enjoy it. Oh, so before we break for today, question, what about the beam? If you're not having a new enough TV and it doesn't support Atmos and you're not going to be buying a new one, it doesn't have eARC and you're not going to be replacing your TV in the near future, what about the Sonos Beam? I would say, if you know that you're not going to be upgrading your TV in the next 5 years and it's going to last you for another 5 years, go for the Beam and add a Sonos sub to the equation. You will be suitably impressed. In fact, I dare say you might be happier with a Beam Plus sub than just the Arc alone. But 5 years later, almost any TV, and I dare to put my last dollar on this, almost any TV that you buy in 5 years' time will have Dolby Atmos support and will have an eARC port. So when it comes to that time, you can then upgrade to the Sonos Arc and enjoy full Atmos sound, lossless. And by that time, the HD Fury Arcana would have been end of life. It is a temporary solution for today's problem. So if you want to spend that $200 instead of putting the $200 to your next TV, I leave it to your own wise judgment. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, enjoy the sound clip tests. Starting now.
This is Dolby Atmos, the world's first object-based cinematic audio. With powerful moving audio that transcends from channels to moving around around you with pinpoint accuracy. Whether the soundscape sets the mood of the scene,
Whoa! What is this place? Come on, you guys, let's go!
or captures the full extent
Do you want to know my secret?
of nature's fury. This is Dolby Atmos, the world's first object-based cinematic audio. With powerful moving audio that transcends from channels to moving around you with pinpoint accuracy. Whether the soundscape sets the mood of the scene,
Whoa! What is this place? Come on, you guys, let's go!
or captures the full extent
Do you want to know my secret?
of nature's fury.